Hi, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on, and we knew there would be with all this Epstein stuff. They've got to keep you busy for a while, and with the whole New World Order, Great Reset, beast system that is being built right before our eyes. It's just a busy time to live, folks. Don't you feel just honored to be living in these times? Anyways, something I've been warning about for quite a while with this administration is the the injection of artificial intelligence into government, and it's happening again. I mean, this is not the first time, but it was announced today that the Department of Defense has signed a $200 million contract with Elon Musk's AXI, which is an AI company. And so this Grok that you're familiar with, some of you at least are on Twitter or X, that will be integrated into the Department of Defense. It will be kind of managing it, making it more efficient, making it available for Department of Defense employees to use. So, yeah, there's more AI being plugged into the government. No big surprise there. It's kind of weird, though, because it was just a few days ago that this very AI was, kind of went haywire and was calling itself Hitler and saying some racist and, anti-Semitic or anti-Jewish things. And then now all of a sudden it's going to be part of the DOD. I'm sure that they're going to fix all those things before they integrate the systems, but who knows? I mentioned this morning that Ghislaine Maxwell, the apparently innocent accomplice of Jeffrey Epstein, since, he didn't really do anything. Most of it was all faked anyways by the Democrats, is what we're told, so it makes you wonder why she's sitting in prison. But anyways, she had made it known that she is willing to go before Congress. She wants to go before Congress and to tell the story, tell the truth, and expose what she knows of the Epstein clients and all that kind of stuff. Well, big surprise. Congress is blocking that. In fact, it's being said it's the Republicans in Congress that are blocking the attempt of Ghislaine Maxwell to go and speak before Congress and tell her side of the story. So there's just more cover-up, folks. I'm telling you, it's all a big cover-up. And I know that the Epstein thing isn't the end-all be-all thing. It's just probably the most recent and one of the most blatant examples of government corruption, how they're all part of the same club. These arguments, well, if, the Democrats would have released it if Trump was on it. Well, Trump, they released it. They're all in on it. Stuff like that is well beyond the divisions of politics, okay? Those types of things, those deep, seedy underworld things that elite people get away with doing, they don't care anything about which side of the political aisle you're on. Like I've said before, they all party at the same things, same clubs, same events, same islands. And you and I are just the little peasants. That's how they view us. It's not a whole lot different than it was hundreds of years ago when you had the kings and the lords and the little serfs and all that kind of stuff. It's similar. But anyway, so they're trying to block that. Also, it's kind of gotten, I don't know that it's the thing that's trying to distract from Epstein, but it's definitely shifting some of the tension. The MAGA supporters that are still strong MAGA supporters are picking up this story talking about Joe Biden's auto pen usage. And so it's come out that several of the pardons that he had done, maybe even all of them, were actually signed by the auto pen. And so a lot of people are out there, we got to, throw all these people in jail. We got to reverse all of these pardons and everything. Listen, absolutely Joe Biden was corrupt. Absolutely, probably half or more of his presidency, the old man wasn't even aware of what was going on. I'm not arguing that at all. But this honing in on the auto pen, I think, is the setup, because these people are making it sound like that this is the deal. Oh my goodness, these documents were signed by the auto pen. Every president since Harry S. Truman has used the auto pen. And it's, while not every president, it's been documented, but many times it has been documented that the auto pen has been used for executive orders and signing legislation and all sorts of things. In fact, Donald Trump used it when he was president beforehand. They've all used it. And it's been, over and over determined that it is a legal means to sign documents. But that's where everyone's focusing on, because nothing's going to change. There's not a president sitting or past or anything that wants some type of legislation or precedence of, questioning their signing of legislation. So I can't guarantee it, but I feel very strongly that nothing's going to come of it. Okay? I think it's all a distraction. Yes, Joe Biden pardoned a lot of people that shouldn't have been pardoned. Yes, it was politically motivated. People paid off. I get all that. Absolutely. But this focusing in on the auto pen, like it's this horrible thing that just came to revelation that, oh my goodness, a president's been using an auto pen. They've all been using it ever since the thing was invented. That's nothing new, folks. Don't get caught up in the little psyops. And then finally, what I wanted to mention today is it's been announced that the United States is sending $10 billion in weapons over to Ukraine and in Eastern Europe, or Europe in general. This is said to be only the first wave. Only the first wave of weapons. The president said today that we're going to send them everything, the best of everything, and they'll have more than what they need. And it's being said in, the news rumors that the plan is to send more over there to Ukraine than Joe Biden did, which is a lot. We're talking like over $100 billion in weapons. Now, the difference is we're not giving these to Ukraine. And most of what Joe Biden sent technically wasn't a gift. They're supposed to pay us back, but that's never going to happen. But this is being sold to NATO. So we're selling these systems to NATO, and then NATO will turn around and distribute these to Ukraine, to the front lines immediately. And I guess in some ways that's better, right? At least we're not giving this stuff away. We as a government, and it's honestly, it's not necessarily the government, it's the military-industrial complex. Basically, the president is allowing NATO to purchase these weapon systems because most of them, they're not necessarily, and the private companies that make these, right? And so they're going to these private companies and saying, okay, let's purchase all these Patriot missile systems or whatever, and being sent over. And so it's not so much that the government is necessarily selling these things, it's these companies. But anyways, that's kind of beside the point. This is a lot. The president is saying that some of this will be offensive. The story is that we're going to be sending missile systems that can very easily make strikes within Moscow. And I can't imagine that Ukraine would not do that. And whether we are selling these or giving these or whatever, I can't imagine Moscow, Putin, and the Russians seeing it much different, especially when American weapons come raining down on Moscow. Also understand that a lot of these weapon systems, the United States is pushing the button, or at least giving the direction of these weapon systems. So it's not like we're just completely hands off of the whole situation. So that's going to get interesting. The president has also given an additional 50 days for Vladimir Putin to agree to some type of ceasefire agreement. And if he doesn't, Trump is going to slap 100% or more tariffs on not just Russian exports, but secondary Russian exports. So what that would mean is if India buys stuff from Russia, then we will slap an additional 100% tariff on India because they're purchasing from Russia. You know, if China purchases from Russia, then we will slap 100% tariff onto China stuff, which in the end, it's you paying those tariffs. I don't know why I have to say that all the time for people to get it. But the bigger point is that this could definitely be taken as a threat of Russia's sovereignty, that an existential threat for Russia. I could see that if Russia says, wait a minute, you're trying to cut us off economically, you're trying to keep all these countries, because we don't do a lot of trade with Russia. They do about $500 billion of US dollars exports, and only about $3 billion come to the United States. So it's not that we do a lot, but they do a lot of trade with other countries. And so if we're doing this and other countries comply and stop doing trade with Russia, Russia could definitely see that as a threat to their national sovereignty and to their existence. And they could comply and give up, or they could escalate things greatly. Russia has repeatedly stated that their nuclear doctrine is that it's okay to use nukes on other countries if Russia feels threatened by those countries, if the existence of Russia is threatened. So, you know, this is a big threat, and I guess we'll see how this plays out. If Trump will stick to it, and if he does, how Russia will react. So, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of distractions, and a lot of big psyops and manipulations. But I mean, it's what we expect, right? The world's falling apart around us. We're in those times, folks. So be getting yourself ready, stocking up, praying, prepping, and bottom line, getting your houses in order, preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.